So that was the A minor harmonic scale, played thumb only, and this is one of the two scales that you will be playing in this course. So you'll be doing A minor, and later on we'll be doing E minor. The difference between the minor scales, there are various technicalities, and the most important thing to know here is this note where it goes to the F, then to the G sharp. It's actually the widest leap in the whole scale. And you can hear that when you play it. So some people might think it sounds slightly Arabic. So that's the... You also find this in Spanish music. Tirando, in other words, 3 strokes. So there's no need to play these apoyando rest strokes. Now I find that most players are quite comfortable using their thumb. The lesser experienced of you probably have learnt to play with the thumb more than they've learnt to play with the fingers. So you can play this scale faster, and in the book, the metronome marking is crotchet equals 96. So it's a bit faster than the IM scales. But do set a metronome and just check your tempo before you play this. It should be fairly easy to play with the thumb like this. You can rest your fingers as you'll only be playing from the A string to the G string on the 2nd fret. You can then, with your other fingers, rest them on the strings below that, maybe on the B and on the E. You can have your index and middle fingers just resting, which supports your hand. Or you can have those 2 fingers on the E string. Or you can be floating the fingers. It all depends on how confident you are. Now, I would probably advise students to play with the fingers on the E string, again somewhere near the rosette, and the thumb somewhere over the sound hole. Now, depending on your guitar, your string tension, your type of string, you might want to experiment if you need more volume to move the hand slightly further back. If your strings are quite tight and they don't flap about too much, you can move them slightly further forward to get a sweeter sound. And if you really practice, you can find a really, really sweet sound. But it's all going to be an experiment for you to work out how you're going to get this tone at the right level for your guitar. Which is why in general I'd say play somewhere in the middle. Now, regarding consistency of rhythm, you want to make sure, because this exercise is all crotchets, that all the notes are the same distance apart, unlike the G major and the F major scale. So you want to make sure that whatever tempo you set, you stick to. And that's why if you are in an exam and an examiner said play an A minor harmonic scale, you'd again pause for a second, and then you'd want the tempo in your head just so you're consistent, rather than starting and thinking, oh yes, it's that scale. So you want to be aware of what you're doing before you play it. Now, some of you may be watching this video just to learn a little bit more about scales. So in which case, you won't be taking the exam, and you'll just be trying to get whatever you can out of scales. And maybe some of the subjects that I've talked about surrounding scales, maybe you've not thought of these before. The whole idea of this is to just get used to the idea of using scales as a way of improving all the different aspects of your playing. So rhythm, tone, your general consistency. Later on I'll be talking about some other variants of this type of minor scale, and it's a subject I've covered in other videos and other courses. But for the moment, the harmonic is just really this interval. That's really what sets it apart from some of the other scales. It's just purely the way the notes end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and when you get to 6, note number 6, note number 7, that's where this scale changes. Now you may be improvising and you may be playing some jazz or something, and this might be an interesting scale to be able to use when you improvise. So scales do have their use in other areas other than just playing classical or playing in exams.